Hello everyone, I'm David Celdran, your Quizmaster, welcoming you to the last BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals of the season. Now, who will be the third contestant to make it to our grand finals and get a shot at 1 million pesos? Well, we find out in tonight's test of curiosity, courage, and intellectual adventure. BilyonaryoQuizB's contestants throughout Season 1 have brought home handsome cash prizes and priceless quiz show experience. And all because they voluntarily applied to test themselves on the national stage. Now tonight, we regard 3 college students who not only stepped up to the BQB challenge, but also outshone their peers in their respective elimination matches. So, let's welcome back our last batch of semi-finalists for Season 1 of the college edition of BQB. That's right, let's call in semi-finalist number 1, who is a 19-year-old freshman at the University of Asia and the Pacific, who brings a fresh entrepreneurial spirit to our competition. He's a trivia enthusiast with a passion for healthy food and a dream of starting up his own business. And he's ready to showcase his knowledge and creativity on our biggest stage. Please welcome University of Asia and the Pacific's Mikolo Gocolay-Rivera. Hello, Miko. All right, good to have you back. Let's meet contestant number 2. Semi-finalist number 2 is a third-year industrial engineering student known for his razor-sharp strategic thinking. As a medalist in national quiz competitions and a seasoned debater to boot, he brings to BQB a unique interdisciplinary approach to problem solving. Please give it up for UP Diliman's Dominic de Jesus. Welcome back, Neil. All right, take your position beside Miko. And semi-finalist number 3 is a 19-year-old BS Chemical Engineering student at UP Visayas with a weighted average grade of 1.071 and a champion mentality. As a DOST SEI scholar and a leader for literacy initiative for grade 2 pupils, he demonstrates both academic prowess and a heart for service. Please roll out the red carpet for UP Visayas' Yel Pogoy. Yel, welcome back. All the way from UP Visayas in Miagao. All right, these young men have stepped forward to take on the BilyonaryoQuizB challenge. And that's no small feat when your every move is broadcast on TV and of course now on YouTube as well. Remember that as they prove to us just how far curiosity and grit can take you in this competition, let's now review the rules of this semifinals match.
Each BilyonaryoQuizB semifinal episode raises the stakes for our weekly winners with increasingly challenging questions testing different aspects of their knowledge in history, science and technology, art and literature, math and logic, geography and nature, and general information. As in our regular episodes, the questions will be read out here in the BQB studio. Unlike our viewers at home, however, our students do not have the advantage of reading the questions on screen. So contestants, listen very carefully. After 2 grueling rounds, only the contestants with the highest score will move on to today's bonus round, and ultimately to the Battle Royale of Wits and Reflexes at the BilyonaryoQuizB Season 1 Grand Finals. But first, he or she must survive round 1. We begin with 12 questions worth 2,000 pesos each. The first contestant to buzz gets to answer. Correct answers earn money points, while incorrect answers give the remaining opponents a chance to steal. It's time for our weekly winners to duke it out in round number 1. Let the BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals begin.
All right, good luck to you, Mick, Neil, and Yel. You aren't the only contestants right now. See, a lot of people watching at home on YouTube or watching on their TV sets are, of course, answering along with you. But just a reminder, let's not forget, dear viewers, the competition is much harder than it actually looks on your screens. While you, the audience, see the questions displayed clearly on your screens, these contestants only hear them. So math equations, critical clues, and tricky phrasing can be much harder to process by ear alone. And we're not even talking about stage fright. I hope none of you have that. You've been here before. So contestant, remember, I have to call on you first, acknowledge you first, before you give me an answer, okay? So when you buzz in, wait for me to call on you before you give that answer. Otherwise, as you know, you forfeit your chance to steal, and you might just give away your answers for free. All right, if you're ready, let's begin with our first round, round number 1. We have a question in history to start off this round. Listen in. In 1994, the Philippines was formally linked to the world for the first time via the internet. Mick, would you know this?
World Wide Web.
Wrong. Neil?
California?
No. Listen carefully. It is all yours, Yel. The Philippines was formally linked to the world for the first time via the internet at an international technology conference in what Visayan school?
Okay.
Go.
I think Visayas State University.
No. It was University of San Carlos, okay? USC, or San Carlos University in Cebu City, of course. That was in March 29, 10:14 a.m. An interesting day to remember. First time the country was connected to the World Wide Web via the internet. All right, no correct answer. Let's move on to question number 2. Science and technology now. What is the popular name for the phenomenon known as eidetic imagery? Miko?
GUI?
Wrong. It's Neil?
Perfect memory?
No. Let me finish. It's the ability to recall visual information with high accuracy, often after seeing it only once or just a few times. Yell.
Photographic memory.
Yes, that is the more precise answer. Photographic memory. We could have considered total recall as one of the alternative answers. Next question. Question number 3. Arts and literature. In Philippine arts, what classic painting by Fernando Amorsolo? All right, he's got a lot of paintings, Neil. Make sure it's the correct one.
Spoliarium?
Wrong. What classic painting by Fernando Amorsolo shares its name with the title of the first full-length Filipino film by Jose Nepomuceno? Title of that painting, Yel.
Dalagang Bukid.
Yes, correct. It is Dalagang Bukid. The film was in 1919. The painting was in 1928, of course, referencing each other. Dalagang Bukid. Let's move on to mathematics and logic. Question number 4. In 1995, Andrew Wiles was hailed for solving a problem that had stumped mathematicians for over 3 centuries, 300 years. What is the name of this classic mind bender? Neil, give it a shot.
The Riemann hypothesis?
Wrong. Would anyone like to steal? Mick?
Fibonacci sequence?
That's also wrong. Yell? Yeah.
Equation. Euler's identity.
That is wrong. It's Fermat's last theorem, or Fermat's conjecture, first stated as a theorem by the French mathematician Pierre de Fermat around 1637, and up until recently, 1995, was that problem solved. All right, next question, number 5. Geography and nature. If you're enjoying yourself at the famous geothermal spa called the Blue Lagoon, what country are you in? Mick?
Iceland?
Yes, Iceland is the correct answer. 2,000 points for you. Next question, general information. True to its Latin name origin, what tech company has been the supreme envy of rivals after it reached Miko?
Linux?
No. Neil, you might know this.
Google?
No. What tech company has been the supreme envy of rivals after it reached a market valuation of more than $1 trillion in 2023?
Is it the Tesla?
Tesla, no. Okay, it was NVIDIA, or it is NVIDIA, if I'm not mistaken, still the top tech company in terms of market valuation until today. NVIDIA from the Latin envy, okay? Let's go to our next question. This is a picture quiz, take a look. Wait for me to describe it, or go ahead. If you think you know it, just buzz and I'll acknowledge you. So here it is. Named after an English historian, what 16th century manuscript contains rare illustrations such as this that's seen on screen? Mick?
Negritos?
Negritos, incorrect. Would anyone like to steal? Neil?
The Jonas manuscripts?
Wrong. Time is up. So Yale has no answer. It is the Boxer Codex, okay? Produced in the Philippines. It was Charles Ralph Boxer, a Brit, who obtained this manuscript from a British peer in London in 1947. It remains one of the most important manuscripts and documents to understand Philippine society and culture during the early Spanish era up until today. Scholars, of course, refer to this document as one of the most important documents to understand Philippine history. Let's go to our next question. Question number 8 is in science and technology. Named for its shape, This small but complex structure plays a vital role in the process of learning and the formulation of new memories. What is this part of the human brain? Neil.
The cerebellum.
Wrong. Mick.
Cerebrum.
That's also wrong. Yell, once again, it's all yours.
The pituitary gland.
That's also wrong. It's a hippocampus. The hippocampus is shaped like a seahorse, okay? Therefore, its name. Let's continue with arts and literature. Engraved twice on the base of Jose Rizal's famous statue in Manila is a signature of what creative European? His name. His name was Richard Kissling. It is his signature on the base because he was the one who sculpted. He was a Swiss sculptor who created that monument, which was unveiled on Rizal Day way back in 1913. Okay, let's go to question number 10. Let's go to math and logic. I will read the question twice. Manuel is both the 6th tallest and the 6th shortest in his basketball team. Yell was first.
11.
Yes, 11 is the correct answer. How many players are there in that basketball team? It's 11 because there are 5 players shorter than him, 5 players taller than him. So 5 shorter plus 1, 5 is equal to 11. That 1, of course, is Manuel. Okay, so next question. Geography and nature. What 11-letter term describes an animal that is most active during the low light periods? Yell?
Nocturnal.
No. Active during the low light periods of dawn and dusk, such as deer, rabbits, and even some birds. Mick?
Ruminants.
Not ruminants. 11-letter term is what I said. Crepuscular is the answer. Crepuscular. Latin for twilight, that is crepusculum. Okay, next question. This is the last question in the round. General information for 2,000 points. Dating back to Spanish colonial times, what Pinoy favorite dessert got its name from the phrase, arm... Nick?
Leche flan.
No. Arm of Our Lady of Mercy. Arm of Our Lady of Mercy in Spanish, yell.
Brazo Mercedes.
Yell, no. Yes.
Tres Marias.
No. Brazo de Mercedes. It's a very specific term, yell. I know some people out there might say it's the same thing, but I don't think you order Brazo Mercedes, right? You say Brazo de Mercedes. Our Lady of Mercy, Arm of Our Lady of Mercy, literally translated from English to Spanish is Brazo de Mercedes. Okay, so let's check out our scores. 6,000 points for Yell is in the lead. Mick has 2,000 points in second place. Neil has no score yet. But of course, Neil, you've been here before. You've all been here before, and you know that you could be in last place and pole vault all the way to first place, depending on how you do in this next round. So we will be back with round number 2, our deciding round, right after this.
BilyonaryoQuizB Season 2 College Edition is now open for applications. If you are a college student and think you have what it takes to join BQB, scan the QR code, fill up the form, and submit the requirements. Do it soon. Deadline for applications is September 12, 2025.
Hello again and welcome back to tonight's semifinals episode of BilyonaryoQuizB, where we find out who earns that last slot in our upcoming grand finals of Season 1. Our knockout round is just about to begin, but first, a few personal questions are in order with our contestants. Mick, I want to start off with you. I recall our last conversation. One of your dreams after graduating was to put up your own restaurant, healthy food, of course. Now, if you were to invite someone, just think of anyone in the world, okay? From the past, from the present, who would you like to invite first, sit down for a meal with?
I would say President Corazon Aquino.
Oh, why? Okay, it's interesting.
She is one of the first female presidents of our country, and probably a way to honor her is to make some Spanish cuisine and some Spanish cuisine-inspired Filipino dishes. To
Maybe some Brazo de Mercedes, right? Not
Yes.
Brazo Mercedes, but Brazo de Mercedes.
Yeah, from these
Okay.
people.
I have a feeling Yell will be like, we'll never eat that thing again the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Just kidding, of course. Neil, all right, good to have you back, of course. You did fantastic in the previous round. You still have a lot of ways to go in this round. You're a great communicator, okay? Apart from being, of course, a budding engineer. But I want to, when people say intelligence, it's not just about, of course, being book smart, right? The communications is important. You're also a debater. How important is that in not just in a career, not just in school, but in life?
Yeah, so I honestly think that communication is a very, very underrated skill. I think that it's great that a lot of people are learning more about it, because I think that learning a lot of things is great, but it doesn't really matter if you're unable to explain it to somebody, right? It's the Feynman technique.
Exactly.
You don't really get something unless you're able to explain it to someone else, right? So I feel like being able to communicate a lot of complex issues and topics, especially in debate, right? When you try to condense a lot of these complex issues and topics into 7-minute speeches, it really helps in understanding the core principles of why things happen. You look at like a problem of, from the prelims episode, right? Talking about traffic, when traffic at its core is possibly a behavioral problem. I don't want to take public transport because of the fact that it's so uncomfortable to me, that it's so inconvenient to me.
And having to explain it in that way,
Exactly.
of course, get your point across rather than through a very thick volume of document.
Yeah.
So exactly, I 100% agree with you. And after all, that's why teachers are some of the most underrated people in the world.
Exactly.
Right? Because they're communicators and of course very intelligent people as well. So salute to all the teachers watching out there right now. Yel, you've come the longest way. Yel is from UP Visayas. That's in Miagao, close to Iloilo. And I understand this is your first time back in Manila since when?
Like almost or more than a decade, I believe. Yes.
And just, what does it feel like being here and competing on the grand stage? Miagao, I know you've joined QuizBs and other competitions, but this is different. How different is it?
Like, of course, there's like all the people in my front, and of course, there's so many lights, and also like I get to experience the city life here in Manila, like even for a short time. Like it's very different in ours. It's a provincial.
Let's trade places, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd like to be in the beach where your campus is.
Yes.
Of course. I hope you're enjoying your stay at the Park Inn by Radisson. Okay.
Yeah, yes,
All right.
I surely
Thank you so
do.
much, Yel. Good luck, Neil. Good luck, Mick. Good luck to you. Let's continue with question number 2. But first, let's listen in to our mechanics for this round.
In round 2 of our semifinals episode, the game mechanics remain the same, but a 3,000 peso price tag now accompanies each difficult question. With the exception, of course, of the semifinals Bilyonaryo booster, which is worth 6,000 pesos. Double the amount, double the thrill. That's an automatic 6,000 pesos that could literally be a game changer for one lucky contestant. At the end of this knockout round, 2 contestants with the lowest scores will be eliminated. If round 2 ends in a tie, the game goes into a sudden death tiebreaker, where the first contestant to answer correctly wins. Let's see who comes out on top of round 2 of the BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals.
All right, get ready. Here's question number 1 for round number 2. It's in history. We're looking for dream alliances, or basically alliances. The brainchild of Philippine President Diosdado Macapagal in 1963. What was the name of the proposed confederation of Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines, Neil?
Mafilindo.
That is correct. You bounce back in, Neil, with 3,000 points. Mafilindo. Obviously, the abbreviation of those words, Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia. Let's go to our next question. It was called Malaya back then, though, not Malaysia. Let's go to science and technology. Question number 2. What do the following have in common? A gold-plated telescope, 2 golf balls, cameras. Neil?
They have dimples.
Wrong. Nick?
They're cylindrical shaped.
No. Let me finish the question. What do the following terms have in common? A gold-plated telescope, 2 golf balls, cameras, a plaque signed by Richard Nixon, and 6 American flags. Where did... Time is up. But anyway, what was your answer?
I think there are 6 symbols. Ganon.
No. Neil, I think you know this one.
They're all on the moon.
That's right. They're all left behind by the astronauts on the moon. Okay, by the 6 Apollo missions in different times, from 1969, the first moon landing, to 1972, Apollo 17. Okay, next question. Still for 3,000 points. Arts and literature. Dedicated as a temple to honor all the gods. What is the only great building, Neil?
The Temple of Zeus.
Wrong. What is the only great building of ancient Rome that remains intact today? That's coming from Yao.
I forgot the Colosseum and all that sort of thing. Yes.
No, that's wrong. You're too nervous. Mick?
The Temple of Artemis.
That's That's also wrong. I'm sure you know this. The Pantheon, right? It's the Pantheon, which is Greek for all the gods. Okay? Pantheon. Theos, pan. All right, next question. Okay, guys, a little nervous. Relax now. Take a deep breath. Okay? Whew. Let's go to math and logic. This should slow you down a bit. Multiplying the average of the bases by the height gives you the formula for the area of what polygon? Neil.
Rectangular prism.
That's incorrect. Multiplying the average of the bases by the height gives you the formula for the area of what polygon? Yell.
Triangle.
Wrong. Mick.
The rectangle.
No, the answer is the trapezium or trapezoid. Okay, next question. Question number 5. Geography and nature. The only 2 double landlocked countries in the world. Neil?
Uzbekistan.
That's wrong. Mick?
Vatican City.
Wrong. Yeah, let me finish.
Austria.
Austria. Hey, now waiting for me to finish. But anyway, listen in. The only 2 double landlocked countries in the world are Uzbekistan in Central Asia. That was correct, but that wasn't my question. And what small country in Western Europe? Okay? It is Liechtenstein. That's too bad, Neil. So double landlocked, of course, means completely surrounded by other landlocked countries. So you're double landlocked, okay? You're not just landlocked, but you're also landlocked around landlocked countries, and that is Liechtenstein, surrounded by Austria and Switzerland. Let's go to our next question. General information this time, in natural evolution. Now, this time I will require a 2-word answer. Very specific, a 2-word answer. Around 530 million years ago, and marking a significant turning point in the history of life on Earth. Neil?
The Cambrian explosion.
You are correct this time. High risk, high reward. That puts you in a tie with Yell at 6,000 points each. Let me finish the question for our viewers. A wide variety of animals burst onto the evolutionary scene in an event known as, definitely, the Cambrian explosion or Cambrian radiation, Cambrian diversification. That's the correct answer. Question number 7. This is in history. Going back to ancient times, what ancient king is best remembered for his legal wisdom and the principle of an yell?
King Solomon.
No. Neil?
Hammurabi.
Hammurabi is the correct answer. And the principle of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, you're all pressing at the same time, but Neil was first. Hammurabi or Amurapi, it's a variation of that spelling. He promulgated the Code of Hammurabi, of course, and ruled Babylon for over 40 years. Let's go to a picture quiz in science and technology. Give the popular 5-letter acronym of this pioneering machine. Neil was first.
ENIAC.
That is correct. ENIAC. E-N-I-A-C. Correct. ENIAC. Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. This was the first digital computer in the world. At least that's known. That's what computers looked like way back in the 1940s. Let's go to our next question. Question number 9. Art and literature. Created to represent Asians in a multiracial cast, what fictional space-traveling pilot of Star Trek was surnamed Mick?
Spock.
Wrong. What fictional space-traveling pilot of Star Trek was surnamed after a Philippine body of water? Right, not a lot of people know this. Neil?
Picard.
No? Do you know Star Trek?
No, I
You don't watch
really.
Star Trek? Make a guess. That's a hard guess, actually. I wouldn't be able to guess this if I didn't watch Star Trek. Hikaru Sulu. Hikaru Sulu played he had Asian features. He was part of the Star Trek cast, even the different generations of Star Trek films. This was a key character, Hikaru Sulu. Of course, Sulu meaning the Sulu Sea, okay? Originally played by George Takei and later by John Cho in the latest film franchise. Okay, next question. Math and logic. I'll read the question twice. The ages of the Ramos siblings are in the ratio 3:4 to 5 to 6. 3:4 to 5 to 6. If the second youngest sibling is 20 years old, how old is the eldest sibling, Neil?
30.
It's 30. 30 is correct. That's gives you 15,000 points at this point, and 6,000 for Yell. Mick, 2,000 points. And here is our second to the last one. Fantastic genetics. So geography and nature. In mythology, it's a fire-breathing hybrid monster. In genetics, it's an organism with two distinct sets of DNA. What is this? Neil?
It's chimera.
Or chimera, correct. Chimera, monster with a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail. A chimera, some would pronounce it. Okay, we're down to our last question. Of course, Neil is going to be moving on to the semifinal round, but Yel, Mick, your chance to bring home a lot more cash with you because apart from the 3,000 points, it's a Bilyonaryo booster question for 6,000 pesos. So, listen in. Neil, you can also, of course, continue to answer. For 6,000 pesos, what two-word Latin phrase refers to the concept that the human mind at birth is a blank slate? Yell.
Tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa is correct. 6,000 pesos for you. That's 12,000 pesos. That was from John Locke, an essay, okay, on understanding the human mind.
Yeah.
Mick, you know, how much do you have here?
1,000, yeah.
But more than that, of course, I hope you enjoyed your
Yeah, I
time
did
here
enjoy it. It's a good experience.
BilyonaryoQuizB. And of course, Yel, hope you have a chance to enjoy the city as well. You haven't been here in a long time.
Yeah,
Enjoy your stay at the hotel as well.
Stay.
All right, of
Yes.
course, you stay where you are because you won't be back. You won't just be back for the bonus round. You'll be back for our grand finals. We'll be back with our grand finalist right after this break.
BilyonaryoQuizB Season 2 College Edition is now open for applications. If you are a college student and think you have what it takes to join BQB, scan the QR code, fill up the form, and submit the requirements. Do it soon. Deadline for applications is September 12, 2025.
Welcome back. Now, the moment has arrived. It's BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals bonus round. And our top contender tonight, Neil, has fought his way to this pivotal stage, showcasing wit and resilience every step of the way, I must say. Now, he faces his final test before moving on to our grand finals. Now, how do you feel about that? I mean, you were at 0 at the end of the first round, and you came back from pretty much out of nowhere, literally.
You know, it's all about being consistent. I think I was rattled a bit in the first round, but
You're up against two very competent,
very good, very smart,
very good competitors.
But it's all about self-belief. I think when going into round 2, I still knew it's 3,000 a question.
And it's also a bit of luck. Because they were buzzing at the same time. You were just quicker than they were. But of course, doesn't matter. What's important is you're here right now. And the funny thing is, you'll be up against one of your friends at UP Diliman in the engineering college, Chris. And how's that gonna feel? Are you gonna guys stay unfriend each other for a while until the end?
Who knows? It is a million.
All right. Anyway, are you ready now for your bonus round?
Yes.
Okay. So before I go to the categories, let's just listen in to the mechanics, just to refresh your memory.
Welcome to the Bilyonaryo bonus round, which is brought to you by Playtime Cares. Our finalist has 2 new opponents to defeat, a 60-second clock, and a set of 10 questions worth 4,000 pesos each. As in our previous bonus rounds, the contestant may take their time answering, or say pass, and move on to the next question. But they must remember that in round 3, there are no do-overs. Once a question is skipped, it's discarded and will not be asked again. Let's wish our contestants luck as they begin the BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals bonus round.
All right, good luck, Neil. You've been here before, as I said, but hopefully it's time with better luck. Because the last time you chose the wrong category.
Very wrong, very wrong.
You did, well, let's be honest, you didn't do too well in that particular round. Maybe this time your luck will change. Let's take a look at your categories. We have jackpot, emphasis on the jack, timeless persons, emphasis on the time, and Latin lingo. All right, of course, I won't tell you what we're looking for, but you get the drift if you can understand the clues that are embedded in these terms.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
I think the timeless person is going to ask me about time persons of the year.
And you have a good memory of those?
I don't know what jackpot means, and I'm terrible at Latin. I would not survive in Rome.
So are you familiar with Time Magazine?
I like to think
Time
so.
Magazine, Persons of the Year, because that's exactly what we are looking for. Used to be called Man of the Year, of course. Things have changed since then. It's now called Person of the Year.
Yes.
So if you're ready, tell me when you're ready, and I'll ask a question. Timer begins after my first question. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, famous individuals who have been on the cover of Time magazine. Question number 1. Known as the Pilgrim Pope, he led the Catholic Church from 1978 to 2005.
Pope John Paul II.
She was portrayed by Loris Guillen in the 1998 film A Dangerous Life. Nico would like to have lunch with her.
Carson Aquino.
He inspired a global movement of civil disobedience and peaceful resistance to colonialism.
Mahatma Gandhi.
He delivered his rousing I Have a Dream speech.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Music icon and philanthropist who formed part of the Good Samaritans with Bill and Melinda Gates, a singer, musician.
I'm a pass on that.
You sure?
Yeah.
He led the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran and became its first supreme leader.
Leader pass.
18 seconds. As president of Egypt, he traveled to Israel in 1977, the first Arab leader to ever do so, also assassinated in Cairo.
Damn, pass.
Teenage activist from
Greta
Sweden,
Thunberg.
dubbed the Teflon president and the great communicator.
Ronald Reagan.
I'll consider that. Ronald Reagan. I'll consider that. Okay. At the very end of the buzzer, you missed one last question. He made the first solo transatlantic flight from New York City to Paris in 1927.
Charles Lindbergh.
Yeah, but too late. Too late. Charles Lindbergh is the correct answer. John Paul II, Pope, called the Pilgrim Pope. That is correct. Corazon Aquino, portrayed by Loris Guillen in the film A Dangerous Life. He inspired a global movement of civil disobedience. You said
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi or Mohandas Gandhi, just simply Gandhi is correct. Delivered the speech I Have a Dream in 1963. MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Music icon and philanthropist who formed part of the Good Samaritans. Bono of the band U2. Bono. He led the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khomeini, or Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. As president of Egypt, he made peace with Israel. Anwar Sadat, President Anwar Sadat, assassinated in Cairo as well. Now, the teenage activist from Sweden who founded the School Strike for Climate campaign in 2018 and Time Person of the Year, Greta Thunberg is correct. Teflon president, the great communicator, Ronald Reagan, in the nick of time, and of course, Charles Lindbergh. You answered that, but that was too late. So let's check how many answers you had correct. That's 6 correct answers. That's twice more than what you answered in the previous round. So 18,000 pesos from the elimination round, 24,000 pesos for the bonus round. You are taking home how much? 42,000 pesos. But of course, we'll see you again for the grand finals where you'll have a chance to take home how much?
$1 million.
1 million pesos plus all the other earnings that you've earned so far. That's a lot of money. So everyone, that's a wrap. And tonight's BilyonaryoQuizB semifinals moves on to next week's grand final. So a big thank you to our contestants. I'd like to call on Yen and Nico back here. Nico, Yen, you guys are champions in your respective elimination rounds. You did very well. That's right. So thank you so much to everyone who's been part of our journey here. Remember, BilyonaryoQuizB returns with our grand finals very soon. Now, to our audience, thank you for making us part of your week. We enjoy engaging with you both on air and online. So if you haven't yet followed us, do so on our socials and also get more updates, exchange ideas with us, and of course, get some official updates on our Season 1 finale, the BQB College Edition Grand Finals, coming up very, very soon. All right, as we like to say in this show, guys, we end the show by saying it's not just about trivia, it's about the lifelong pursuit of learning. So keep asking questions and stay curious all the time because knowledge will always be our greatest asset. That's right, that's our tagline here. So everyone, we'll see you again for Season 1 Grand Finals of BilyonaryoQuizB. Wow.